For this Choose Your Own Design Adventure project, you're going to be creating a sports logo for an expansion team. And you're going to you're going to put that logo on merchandise. So there's a ton of different logos and ways to go about designing something. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 possible expansion teams in a variety of sports. First one is for the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association. You're going to be creating a new team in Fargo, North Dakota. That's up here. Or you're going to add an expansion team to the NFL for the National Football League in Anchorage, Alaska. Have the National Women's Soccer League, new team in Miami, Florida. A new Major League Baseball expansion team in Portland, Oregon. Or you're going to choose Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and it's going to be a National Hockey League team. So you are going to choose one of those 5 sports to create a logo. The basic steps are going to be you need to research the city first, really find out what this city's about, how it got started, what they're known for, what industries they have, interesting facts about it, wildlife that may be there. All of that information will help you come up with a logo that is interesting and relevant to that particular city. Then after you've filled out your planning sheet, you'll be posting 25 to 30 possible logos. It'd be nice if you could find logos that are specific to the sport. Doesn't necessarily have to be specific to the league, but if you start running out of things that you find interesting, you can branch out into other sports as well. Then you'll go to the building phase where you'll do some sketches and create 3 black and white rough draft versions of the logo, and you'll choose one of those to colorize. Then from there, you'll choose 2 to 3 possible things to put that logo on. Maybe it's a helmet, maybe it's a t-shirt, maybe it's the stadium itself. So you'll pick some merchandise that you can Photoshop on the logo onto, and then you'll record your screencast that talks about your entire process. So here are examples. You'll do your Pinterest board and your planning sheet. You'll start with the planning sheet, then you'll do your Pinterest board. And you're going to research the city, and I've got some information spots here available for you to take notes. I also have the Pinterest board explanation and the screencast that you'll do from this. Again, these are the teams and the locations. So NFL is in Alaska. National Women's Soccer League is a Florida team. So you're going to need to not only come up with the logo, but the mascot and the name of the actual team. So it's totally up to you, but that's where the research is going to come in to find something that's relevant. Baseball is in Portland, Oregon. The WNBA is in Fargo, North Dakota, and the NHL, or the hockey team, will be in Halifax, Nova Scotia. You'll come up with your variations. You'll come up with something that you want to Photoshop your logo or design onto, and then you'll be presenting in a screencast at the end your branding guide. And here is the example of the branding guide one that I made. So what you'll do is you'll place your logo. You'll explain a bit about how you came up with the team name and why that's relevant. It's as if you were pitching this to the sports league. You'll describe the logo and why the choices that were made were done. You'll put in what your hexadecimal numbers are, and I'll show you those again if you need help with finding those, for the main colors that were used and what fonts were used on that. And then on the second page, that's where you'll have some flexibility to decide where you want to place things. The first thing will be explaining where the heck are you going to put the stadium? And what are you going to name the stadium? So for the example on this one, the Salton Sea Toxics, if you've ever been to the Salton Sea or know anything about it, it's a very toxic toxic sea, hence the name. And there's lots of carcasses of dead fish on the beach. It's really kind of gruesome. But that's set up. Also, having the chevrons set up this way is supposed to indicate speed in moving forward from one end of the football field to the other. So you'll include a map. You can include a picture of a stadium if you want. You want to Photoshop something on there, that's fine. But you're going to choose 2 to 3 possible things, if not more, to put the logo on and kind of design. So for this one, decide to do one on a helmet, did a Photoshop on a football player and kind of mocked it up a little bit, and then did a fan T-shirt and kind of explained what those things were and what I would be using that logo on. So that is what the finished product will be. It's a matter of taking the logo you created, placing it on several pieces of merchandise, and then setting up essentially like a 2-page presentation that you would end up giving to, pitching it to the actual city or pitching it to the league itself. And then you'll record your screencast. So you're not going to have to pitch these necessarily, but that'll be part of your screencast. So you'll explain your process, your choices, and your variations. Now, on the website here, I have it set up where I've explained, again, here are the teams. I have the planning sheet that you can click on here, and it will open up this planning sheet that will you'll answer these questions. I would recommend Wikipedia is a great resource for things like Anchorage, Alaska. Here's a whole bunch of information about Anchorage, Alaska, and their nicknames and where it's located. And reading the article will help you really figure out what types of things would be most relevant or useful for that particular city, something that would be a bit more meaningful. Then you'll create your Pinterest board and you'll record your screencast. That screencast is going to show the Pinterest board and your planning sheet. Then in the building phase, and then I have some resources here. These are some speed art things on how to vectorize using Illustrator, the mascots, or putting in the names. And I'll add more stuff to this as we go along, but you can always do a search for stuff. And then Mockup World is a free template generation site. So like I actually built this one in Mockup World. I kind of did some Photoshop stuff, or you can download the file, or you can check out this mockup design one. You can download a wide variety of different things to actually put the logo onto. So I got things with t-shirts, other clothing and stuff. So there's a lot of ways to be able to put those on there. It's not as complicated as you may think it may be. And then I've built a template here that already has these boxes, has the text frames underneath. You can totally modify and change this around to fit what you feel really best represents what you're putting together. I've given you a template that has the basic framework for both pages, but feel free to modify. Just make sure that you're including at least 2 to 3 things that you are putting your logo on, and then the actual colors and things like that. And that is what you will work on with this project.